Hi everyone, welcome to my guide to voice acting, specifically for LEGO Brickfilms, but I'm sure this will fit with other forms of stop motion animation as well. In this video, I'll cover how to record your own voice acting, how to get other voice actors, taking enough frames to fit the line, dealing with voicing when you're editing, and finally, how to handle deadlines and poor quality voice lines. When doing your animations, most people will just use their own voice and not bother getting any voice actors. That's totally okay. However, you want to make sure you're doing it yourself. You want to get the best quality audio possible. So to record your own audio, I'd recommend getting some form of microphone in order to get the best audio quality you can. I use a Blue Snowball microphone, which is fantastic and it works really well with Adobe Audition or Audacity if you want to use a free software. However, a proper mic is quite expensive. You might just want to use a cheaper alternative. Well, in that case, I'd suggest using simply a built-in mic on wired headphones. You can wear these normally just plugging it into your phone and opening the voice memo app and then recording from there. Or you could use some form of clip and attach it to your clothing, and that way it's a bit close to your mouth. Either way, it works fine, and I use this method whenever I don't have access to a main microphone. Alternatively, you might feel a little bit insecure about how your voice sounds, or maybe you just want a more authentic sounding animation with each character having its own unique and distinct voice. You can try do different voices yourself. There's a fantastic video from Brickology which I'll link to in the description if you want to find out more about how to do this. However, for the purpose of this video, I'll just talk about how you get other voice actors, other people. If you're on a budget, I wouldn't really recommend finding sort of professional, semi-professional people who want some form of payment. You could do this, but if you want the best of the best, I simply recommend asking other brickfilmers to help out. Don't be afraid just to DM your favourite brickfilmer or any animator and ask if they'd be up for voicing a few lines in your animation. 9 times out of 10 when I've done this, they've said yes, and the worst they can say is they're a little bit too busy right now. I mean, if that's the case, you can just message someone else. I'd recommend getting a fellow brickfilmer to voice act. You could get other people, but I'd recommend another brickfilmer because they're engaged in the same hobby as you, and they kind of might have a better idea of what you're looking for than someone who knows nothing about the hobby. You could join Discord servers and put message on there. You could use Instagram DMs or emails as viable ways to ask someone to voice act for you. From my experience, most people are just happy to help out in any way they can. If you have maybe over 500 subscribers, you could even go 100. It might be worth putting a post out on your Instagram or your YouTube community tab and just ask if anyone wants to voice act. This way people will come to you rather than you having to reach out to them. And it's kind of what I usually do. Unless I have maybe someone in mind for a specific role. But some brickfilmers host auditions as well. I don't usually do this, as I think this can kind of worry some people and it can turn them off a bit from wanting to voice act for you. It can make voice acting, you want to make it seem like an opportunity for everybody and anybody, and auditions I feel can just really put some people off, especially if it's just a small scale project. That said, if it's a major character in a series who's going to crop up a few times, take The Master in Star Wars Covenant, which I'm doing, I did hold an audition and I got 3 people auditioning. You want the best person you can for that role to make sure the animation's top quality. But if you're doing a 2-minute short or something, don't bother auditioning. Later on in the video, I'll talk about what you do when you cast someone and they really don't suit the role, or poor audio quality, or it's just completely unusable. I will talk about that. So finally, when sending voice actors the script, it's an important part. You do actually have to send them the lines. I don't usually send the entire thing. I simply highlight their lines and just take screenshots so they know exactly what parts they're doing. I feel a whole script can be a bit confusing for them, and if the voice actor misses a line with just a whole blank script, then they might not have time to go back and do it again. Also, you don't want to spoil the entire brick film. They might not want to know everything so they can watch it for themselves eventually. Okay, so now we move into actually making the animation. I try and get a cast together before you start to animate. It gives me a lot of motivation to get the thing done. You've got a whole people waiting on you now. You've got a whole team of people backing you. So that animation is in the works and you can get it done. So when you're in your software, I use Stopmotion Studio, so that's the one you'll be seeing here. How do you make sure the characters in the brick film, when they're speaking, fits the voice lines that you've got? If you've got the lines already from your voice actors, then what you want to do is you want to take the footage you need, say this is a motion thing, so you're going to get the character moving, i.e. a hand moving, a head turning. In between the hand moving and the head turning, what you want to do is you want to begin to copy and paste frames between the motions. Once you feel like you've copied enough, go to the start of the section where the character speaks and play the video and audio. Just out loud from your phone. You've got the audio from the voice actor, and then you play the video, just click the space bar on the keyboard. So you want to see if they match. If they do, great, you don't have to do anything. If they don't, then either delete some of the copy frames if you've taken too many, or just copy some more if there are too few. So what you've got end up is a piece of footage and the audio matching it. Fantastic. It might feel a bit awkward at first, but it's something you'll get used to. Just do it a few times. So some brickfilmers don't use copy frames. I know a lot of people who don't. They feel it's a bit too static just to have a character standing there and not moving. They feel it's a stop motion, so you don't want to use too many copy frames. But I have narrative animations which aren't about fast-paced movement, so I find copy frames work perfectly fine for me. Alternatively, you can keep the figure moving when they're talking, and you will have to realise they're going to have to move more significantly, instead of using copy frames. So they're going to have to be hand moving and then a head moving, and then their body's going to have to move slightly. I just don't do this style of animation, but it means characters are going to have to be moving a lot more when you play the line on top of it. But the process is still the same. You're going to take that piece of audio and play it on top to make sure it does match the motion. However, the voice actor doesn't often send me the lines until I'm about to start editing. The whole animation has been filmed. So how have I done this? Well, you just say the line yourself. So instead of playing the audio, I just say the line when the video plays, and say it in the way that I want to say it, so the footage goes on for as long as I say it. Now, that poses a little bit of a problem, which I'll talk about in the next part. So, dealing with voicing when you're editing. If you use the final method, where you just say the line, you will naturally see it's different to the voice actor. You and someone else are going to say the line completely differently. So let's say you don't have enough footage when you get round to editing. Yeah, there's no reason to panic. Firstly, I'd try trim out the pauses in the line on that audio clip and see if the audio fits the footage. Often does, that's brilliant. Secondly, if that hasn't worked, you can cut out little segments from your footage and use them like copy frames before. Just copying them into the timeline in order that the footage fits the same length as the audio. If the audio feels unnatural with the pauses removed, then you can just do that in the first place. And don't worry about cutting pauses out of the audio.
Yes, Colonel. We wish to practice with you for the floors of hands for all positions.
So, finally, the tough bit. Dealing with poor quality acting or audio. When you get a line that's said really, you get a line that's said really unclearly. You can't make out the words. Maybe there's a fan in the background. Maybe the actor has an accent which makes it really difficult to understand the line. You can just use the line. Sometimes I do. They're not a big enough character to make them be bothered to retake the entire thing. But it can at points just be so unusable that you have to take some of the following steps to make sure that your brick film is top quality. Firstly, give the voice actor another chance. There's no need to be tight. Message them going, "Hi, sorry to bother you. This line was a bit unclear. Would you just be able to retake that for me and send it again? Thank you so much." Easy. Sometimes that's all that's needed. They just do it perfectly on the retake. "Oh, really sorry, I'll do it again." Fine. Other times, it is still really incoherent, or it's unusable, or maybe that accent is just preventing the line from being heard clearly. And in that case, you might have to politely tell them that you can't use their voice in the animation. A way of doing this I use sometimes, you just want to be kind, you want to be polite. So I say, "Hi, I'm really sorry. I don't think your voice is quite right for this character. There might be a better role suited for you in the future. And maybe you could just give them a background character with one line. That way you're not excluding them from the animation entirely, they're still there. You want to feel open, you want to feel like someone who welcomes people to voice act for you. You don't want to cut people off if you don't have to." So, as for the role that needs to be recast, let's say it's a bigger role with maybe 10 lines or a medium role, I often just maybe do it myself. Or you can try to find another voice actor to fill the role, but maybe if you're editing, you don't want to wait that long, just record it yourself. It's fine. This is the worst part for me, and every animation, there is usually one voice actor who sends unclear or just unusable lines. It's going to happen. It will happen, especially if you've got a cast of 16 or something, which I had for the last brick film. You've got to be prepared for it, but just be polite, just be open, and try to include them as much as you can while ensuring your final product is still a really good standard. Well, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if there are any questions, please put them down in the comments. I'll reply to every single one. So, If you want another video like this, on another topic, let me know and I'll make it. This video was made thanks to a suggestion from Crazy Pugs, who coincidentally does voice act for me. Thanks to him and you lot for watching, and I'll see you all next time.